Hello folks, this is Sol speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. This is taken from a double-up game that I am playing together with Antisocialmunky. And the theme of this game is going to be trying to stop Aurelion Sol. So the last video that I put up on the YouTube channel demonstrated just how overpowered Aurelion Sol is in the current version of Teamfight Tactics. We were expecting this to get hotfix nerfed. It has not gotten hotfix nerfed, although that is apparently because the lead designer for Teamfight Tactics unfortunately came down with a case of COVID, and that has prevented them from implementing any kind of a hotfix, which is unfortunate because Aurelion Sol is very, very overpowered and has been completely dominating the ladder. And not in a good way. So in the last video, I showed a game where I was basically going to probably get a 6th or a 7th place finish, and then I got bailed out with 4% odds Aurelion Sol, and then used that to win streak to a 1st place finish. In this game, the shoe is going to be on the other foot, and we're going to try to deal with another team that gets the lucky Aurelion Sol, but we're going to play our way into that as the game goes on. So honestly, right now, Teamfight Tactics not a lot of fun to play because it is such an unbalanced setup. We've been playing more double up because double up mode is just inherently more fun to play. And like if I'm going to be playing Teamfight Tactics in a patch that's not very well balanced, I'm going to have more fun playing it with other people, and you can work around the randomness of Aurelion Sol to a little bit more extent if you're playing with a teammate to some degree. Okay, so I am grabbing, what is this? I get the early Silas drop here, and as soon as you see early Silas, that's often a sign that you should go into a mage opener. I've done quite a few mage games in set 7, played them a lot, one of my most played team compositions. And in this patch version, where Aurelion Sol is the dominant champion, mages into Aurelion Sol is typically the strongest team composition. If you can, it's like Aurelion Sol's strongest late game. You just have to make it there, and a mage board gives you a good way to do that. Anyway, so I don't like any of these initial augments. I'm going to reroll. I don't really like any of these either, but I like Electrocharge the most out of these, so I'm going to go ahead and pick that up. I am trying to play into a mage opener. I actually don't have that many mages, but I do have the Silas. And as I've said, if you get an early Silas drop, that's usually the signal to look to go into mages. As I said, we talked about this before in some of the other videos, but really the strength of a mage composition is your front line. It's not really so much like, do you have the early rise? I mean, it's like, okay, early rise is nice, definitely. It certainly helps because it gives you a unit to play through. But mage comps are basically stall comps, so having more frontline is typically what causes them to be strong. And so like having a well itemized early Silas is generally the thing that makes a mage comp perform well, more so than rise, because you can kind of chip down the enemy team with like Nami's bouncing damage, and like Heimerdinger actually does a fair bit of damage. He just applies it in a really unhelpful way. Heimerdinger's ability causes him always to target the enemy who has the most health, so he's really bad at actually killing anything, but his ability actually does do quite a bit of damage. So like if you have a really tanky front line, then like Heimer, Nami, they can like chip down the enemy over time, but they're not going to, that's not going to work if your front line is paper thin. Anyway, so I'm going to lose this round because I still don't actually have the mage trait in. I need to find just any other mage, so Silas will double cast, and then I get this shot, which is just amazing. I find a Nami, so I can get that in. I find an Alawi, so I can get that in. We'll move out of the Tom Kenches, play Alawi over Skarner. Now we've got our 3 Astral, and now we've got our 3 mages, and we've also got a Heimer here as well. So this was like the perfect shot for me to get. And now I have really the ideal opener to play mages. I have an early Silas, I have Astral trait in, so I start getting the Astral shops, and I have good items for Silas. He's already got a Warmogs, and then he's got another defensive item. So, yes, you do need tiers, yes, you do need rods to play mages, but this is really what you're looking for. This is much better than having like an early rise, but not having frontline. And you're going to see here in this setup, in this game here, how this setup just, after losing that initial round, is going to be quite strong in the upcoming rounds, because people just can't get through Silas, and if they can't get through Silas, then they can't beat me. Anyway, so Antisocialmunky is going to be playing his favorite comp here. He is going to be playing the reroll composition that has traditionally been based around Ezreal, but in this patch it's going to be based around Karma instead. Karma is just a much stronger unit right now than Ezreal. Ezreal got nerfed super hard in this most recent patch. So I've been trying to grab a unit to send over to him. I've been able to make a 2-star Leona, so I'm going to send that over to him. And that's also a team composition that is strong, largely based on its front line. It does matter, of course, if the carry has good itemization. The interesting thing is that Karma and Ezreal basically have identical itemization. They both want blue buff, and then they both want like spell crit ideally. So like Jeweled Gauntlet plus Infinity Edge is kind of best in slot. But Morello's is quite good on Karma after it got the huge buff in this patch. Death Cap is not bad, although not best in slot. So blue buff plus just general AP. Archangel Staff also very good because those comps stall out the fight. So he's just building around the Karma instead of building around the Ezreal. All right, so this board, again, this board's got the early rise, so you might think, oh, well, this board's going to be better than me. But look, this Mage's board cannot get through the Sylas. If they can't get through the Sylas, doesn't matter how good the rise might be. They can't get through the Sylas. They can't do anything. So we win this round 4-0. And that board was already level 5. Like, my board was level 4 against a level 5 Mage's board, and I still win anyway. So that's the value of that early Sylas right there. Now, it's not enough to come over and help Antisocial win his round. But anytime someone levels early to 5 and you don't level early to 5 and you can beat them, like, that's really, really good. So off to a pretty good start here overall. All right, so right now I'm pretty flexible. I could try to take, I wouldn't have minded taking that rod to start building towards some kind of AP item, but there's also a Sylas here with a cloak, so I was like, this would give me 2 out of 3 Sylases, and if I can find one more Sylas, I have Sylas 2-star with a Gargoyle Stoneplate and a Warmogs, so I just need to find one more Sylas here, and I was telling Antisocial to keep an eye out for a Sylas, because that would be a very big hit if we could manage to hit it. So for the time being, I'm just going to level, and I think I toss in, first I'm going to take the gold. This is where you always get the choice of either an item or alternately gold. And I definitely will take the gold. Will definitely take the gold here, because that allows me to level and still be at 15 gold. Otherwise, I would be, at 7 gold, which would not be too good. And I'm just going to play both Sylases here. Like, why would I put in the Heimer? Just put in both Sylases. They'll both, they both have Mage Straight. They actually both have defensive items. So this is just going to make my front line even stronger. This is definitely going to make me better than a 1-star Heimerdinger in this situation. And we're just, right now, Antisocial is not especially strong. Right now, we're just trying to get Antisocial's gold up so that he can do a big roll down on at the beginning of stage 3 when he's level 4 and has 50-ish gold. So he should be loss streaking right now. So anytime we're able to get wins for him, that's actually a really good sign. Well, I mean, it's not great because it interrupts his loss streaking for economy purposes, but it is good from a health perspective in the sense that right now his comp is kind of at its weakest point because he's only level 4. He has not hit hasn't even hit his 2 stars yet, much less his 3 stars. So he will get much stronger over time. But any round that we can pull out a win for him right now is a really good sign. So once again, here's a comp that just cannot get through the Sylas. And if they can't get through the Sylas, they're not going to be able to win. Well, I guess they did finally manage to get through the Sylas, but they had to get into overtime to do it. And so I'm going to lose that round. But overall, still feeling pretty good about this situation. My board's all 1 stars. And I do need to get some kind of carry unit. So I'm going to find the 2-star Heimer. So that is probably worth playing the Heimer because it's 2-starred over the second Sylas. So I'll go ahead and make that switch just because he's been 2-starred. But I'm really hoping I can find that one more Sylas so I can combine into Sylas 2-star and make the Gargoyle Stoneplate. Antisocial's bench is pretty full. You see he's kind of got pieces of a whole bunch of different stuff. And this is one of the problems when you play this comp is your bench gets really, really full. He took the gold as he needed to do because he needs to get up to 50 gold so he can start rolling it down on level at the beginning of stage 3 when he's still only level 4. So he can do a big roll down and see what 3 stars he can hit. But I was able to accelerate him on his Leona by giving him a 2-star Leona. So I think he has 5 Leonas right now instead of having 2, and that's a pretty big deal. All right, so once again, I'm up against another Mage's board. Now, again, you see a lot of Mage's boards right now because everybody's trying to play into Aurelion Sol with a Mage composition, since that's kind of like the how do you win the lobby is you hit 2-star Aurelion Sol in this particular patch. But once again, Sylas just stands up there and tanks, and having the 2-star Heimer actually does make a huge difference because he's stunning people with double cast and doing quite a bit of damage. Actually, the lowest damage dealt, so maybe he didn't do that much damage in the fight. But still, we look pretty good there. And I'm going to get a Nami, and then I also get a Lulu here. So I'm going to be able to put in Lulu for trainer. And yeah, that'll feel pretty good. And I can start stacking up Namzi as well. All right, so one thing that's not good is my gold. I'm actually pretty low on gold here, only have 20. So hoping that I can get a little bit more gold here from the minion round. And again, still looking for Silas and still looking for Rise. Mage boards tend to be a little bit on the weaker side in the early game. They really get stronger once they can hit like 5 mages. But, you know, finding all the pieces can be a little bit difficult. Now, this is nice. I'm going to get a rod, which is outstanding. I need rods. Need to start putting together the pieces of those items that I'll want to play long-term, ideally on Aurelion Sol. And I'm going to get a little bit more gold. And then I get double rods. It's like, oh, this is great. This is fantastic. This will allow me to make 2 different rod-based items. I definitely don't want to combine these into a death cap. That would be a waste. So, and I'm also going to get up to 5 Namis, so that's really nice as well. Get a little bit more Astral Gold here. So now the question is, how do I want to use this this cloak? I can go ahead and make Gargoyle Stoneplate, and then if I find another Silas, I'll still have another cloak. That could maybe be a Dragon's Claw later on, which is a great item in this magic damage heavy meta. By the way, one of these people is rolling like super aggressively for Namis. So it might be a little bit harder to hit Nami 3-star, but I have 5 so easily, and Antisocial has 2 more. So he's hoping that he can hit 1 2-star Nami and send over to me. He's also on 8 Leonas right now, so that's a good sign. Unfortunately, the Namis are eating up some of his bench space, which is not great, but he has found 2 out of 3. If he can find 1 more, he'll be able to send me a 2-star Nami, and then I'm at 8 once he does that. Okay, so I'm up against this Anivia player that I hit in the very first round of the game and beat me in the very first round of the game. Looks like I still don't have quite enough to beat this person because Anivia is going to get off a good cast. And I have not been able to get off to a long winning streak thus far in the game, but I still do feel like I'm in pretty good shape. Getting the double rods from that minion round was super duper nice for me. All right, so what are we going to get here? We're going to get the augment, what is it? I'm going to go ahead and pull the Tome of Traits because I don't like any of the other options right here, and I'll wait 1 round before pulling it, so I have the chance to pull with more traits in play. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so I think that is, I can't remember if that's 1 tailored trait or 2 tailored traits. But putting in the Lulu definitely helps me a lot here. We get Namzi in, can start stacking Namzi up. And we'll stack it reasonably fast because I already have 2-star Heimer. So we get 3 snacks per round. But more importantly, now I've hit the 2-star Silas. And like that's the big thing I needed. With a 2-star Silas with these items, it's going to be very hard for people to punch through me. And now I just need to get some kind of a carry into my composition. So ideally we find Rise on level 7. And then we put our mage items on Rise. And then we coast from there into Aurelion Sol and transfer from Rise over to Aurelion Sol. That's kind of like the last piece that we need here. But I just spiked by a lot on this level up. Like really, really spiked by a lot on this level up by getting the 2-star Silas in. Because now it's I keep saying this, but like now it really is difficult for anyone to get through Silas as a frontliner. He just has too much health, too many resistances, gets those shields, and it's really difficult for people to punch through my front line. I'll go ahead and sell the Skarner, and now I just need to econ up to level 7. Like, that's the big thing right now. I don't have a ton of money. I'm level 620 gold. That's not a lot. So now we just need to push levels, get up to 50 gold, and then look for Rise when we hit 50 gold. All right, now I'm going to pull the Tome of Traits, and there's actually multiple good options here. Mystic Emblem will be good too, but there's a Mage Emblem, so I'm going to have to take that. So I'm quite happy with that, and I'll stuff it on Alawi for right now. But this is really big because it gets me to 5 mages, and that means the mages lose that penalty on casting. They no longer double cast at 75% efficiency. Now they double cast at 100% efficiency. So that's a big, big plus right now. And I can always sell Alawi later on and transfer this mage hat to someone else. So this could go on an Aurelion Sol later on as well. So here's one of the other people who's playing their mages board. But look, what does this board not have? It has Crummy Frontline, has a 1-star Silas with a Bramble Vest, which is going to do nothing against my team of magic damage. And it has a 1-star Lilia with no items. So like their entire team just casts at Silas and does absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, I just punch right through their front line and we annihilate this board. It's not close. It's a 6-0 fight and they take 7 damage. That would have been, what, 14 damage if that had not been cut in half. So that is what happens if you're playing mages and you have a weak front line. Note that I don't have Rise. I really have no carry in this team at all, right? Like there's no champion on my board who's holding like, I don't know, Archangels or Morellos or Deathcap or Jeweled Gauntlet. Like no one has been itemized for magic damage at all. But I still win the round super easily because yeah, that's that's why having a strong front line is what you actually need to make this comp work. Okay, so I was going to look for the sword there to maybe make a gunblade, but that's not an option. So I'll go ahead and take this belt, and then that can be used potentially for a Morello's, is the idea there. So that is quite good. That is one of the better items to put on Aurelion Sol. And that item, as I've mentioned before, was super buffed in this patch. And Morello's now is way too good. And really, they should probably just revert some of that buff. They buffed it from 30 AP to 50 AP, which is crazy. They should just knock it back to like 40 or 35, and the item will be back to being balanced again. So Antisocial has hit his 3-star Leona. He is not that close to the Karma. He has 2-star Karma, but he's not especially close to 3-star Karma, unfortunately. So not quite there. But with the 3-star Leona, he's actually pretty strong right now in these lobbies. By the way, note how many people are playing Astral. A lot of people playing Astral in this lobby. A lot of people playing Astral. I have the Mage Cap on Alawi for the time being, and she's actually a very good user of Mage Cap. Like, she's not as good as some of the carry units you can put it on, but she actually uses it quite well because it causes her to double cast, and each time that she casts, she's going to steal armor and magic resistance from the other team. So it increases her damage a little bit, but more importantly, it actually increases her tankiness as well. In earlier versions of this set, oh, by the way, now I'm finally going to hit Rise, so now I have my unit to play on level up, but there's no need to rush here. I think that I do not think I have to rush. I'm going to go ahead and make the items. Oh, I see. I decided I'd just take out Astral for one round so that I could play the Rise instead and have an actual carry because I do want to win this round. I do want to try to win streak into the minion round here. So I drop Astral Shops for one round. It's not a big deal. I'll just put Vlad in on level up and get Astral back in. But this makes me much stronger because it gives me an actual carry unit to play through in the form of the Rise. So as usual, just keeping an eye out on other teams and trying to position away from units like the Olaf. This is, again, a perfect example of why 2-star Silas is so important for this team comp. The entire enemy team focuses on him. That gives him 1 billion armor and MR via his Gargoyle Stoneplate. And look what happens. This team of melee bruisers does absolutely nothing. We cut through the entire team. I don't think he killed anything. And Antisocial's winning his round very easily as well. So we're both on big win streaks, and we have really stabilized our boards right here. So now I'll look to, I actually should put Vlad back in. Yep, there we go. Good job past me, getting one extra Astral Shot for free because we don't need to worry about getting extra damage on Rise on a minion round. Think we'll be pretty safe to kill the wolves, regardless of which of them is in there. But yeah, now my goal is just, get to 50 gold, push levels. I feel stable enough. I don't think I have to roll here. We're winning these rounds pretty easily. There does not seem to be any comp that's super threatening out there. So yeah, just like level up. And this is actually going to give me 2-star Lulu, which is really nice as well because that'll stack up Namzi faster. But just like keep pushing levels and look at this. I'm going to get to 8 Namis. And if I remember correctly, I think Antisocial actually sends me a 2-star Nami. So yep, we'll just get to the 3-star Nami. That was easy. I mean, might as well, right? It didn't cost me anything to do so. Might as well play the 3-star version of the unit. So now I'll go ahead and put in the Rise. And we're actually on 6 mages now, which is like not really necessary, but by the same token, what else would I put in here? Like, I guess if I hit like a Sona, I could put Sona in and take something out for like Evoker, but I mean, this is pretty good. Basically, every single unit on the board is a mage except for Lulu. What I was saying before is I used to put the mage emblem on Lulu, but she actually does not apply the mage emblem very well at all. I believe she does not actually double polymorph. I think that she just gets an increased benefit on the polymorph that she does do. So she's actually not a very good user of the Mage Cap at all. Alawi is a much better user of it. And I'm going to get so many Alawis from Astral Shops, I can always sell the Alawi and move this if I want to. But yeah, we've just like moved into the mid game. Antisocial has hit most of the pieces of his comp, and we're just kind of cruising here. Now, I've got a bit of a tough choice here because there's 2 things that are very good. Meditation is always really good on mage comps, or I can take Second Wind, which is going to give my units back some of their missing health after 10 seconds. I think about it, and eventually I decide Second Wind I think is better here because Remember, mage comps are basically stall comps, and my whole goal is just to stall time for Rise to scale up in right now, and then if I can get Aurelion Sol, time for Aurelion Sol to scale up as well, so that he can ascend and then kill the entire board. And I think that second win helps more in that matter. So meanwhile, over there, Antisocial has hit his 3 stars, 3-star Leona, Tarek, and the Karma, and those are the 3 key units. So now he can finally hit the F key and start spending his gold on experience instead of rerolling. But he's managed to hit his units. So what he wants me to look out for now is Shi-O-Yu, so that he can play the Jade Dragon. And this is one place where having people that are kind of following different leveling strategies can be quite nice. Because he stayed at a low level and rerolled, it was easy for him to find the extra Nami for me to get 3-star Nami. But because I'm pushing levels, it's going to be easier for me to find Shi-O-Yu, who he can't really see in his shops yet because he's still only level 6. So this is a way that the two of us can help each other out. By the way, this person has a Crown of Champions, which means that they're up to Shimmer Scale 9. So like that's a concern that they're already up to Shimmer Scale 9. Also level 8 with, they're running Cluttered Mind and they're already level 8. So that is a team comp that we have to look out for. They are all the way down on 33 HP though. So yeah, that's not looking so good for them. So they basically traded in all their health in exchange for like just pushing pure economy. So like instead of stabilizing their boards, they've just taken a ton of damage in exchange for pushing levels. But that comp is going to be dangerous because Shimmer Scale 9 is going to deliver a ton of gold, and it is also going to mean that they have that Crown of Champions, which is going to be a real problem. But up until this point in time, those two teams have been very weak, and they've been taking an awful lot of damage. Anyway, here's another person playing Astral, but they have sunk all their gold into rerolling for Nami 3-star, but then put no items on Nami, which doesn't really make a lot of sense. I think this is like an Astral composition that was not managed correctly. So yeah, I mean, look at all these items just sitting there on their bench. Well, they're sure not doing any damage to me as I'm cutting through their team pretty effortlessly. And now Antisocial is going to come over after having won his round as well. So yeah, we're going to win this. And that team does not look like they quite know what they're doing. We're still relatively early in our double up matches. I think we're in gold rating right now. And because we're very used to playing in like Diamond and Masters rating, Diamond for me, Masters for... Actually, Antisocial's in Grandmaster. I shouldn't cut him short. He's currently rated in Grandmaster as I'm recording this. We're used to lobbies that are a little bit more highly rated. So, yeah, we kind of have more experience with people that are maybe not in like gold rating. But I don't quite know how the double up ladder works either. So the main thing is these team comps are maybe not as difficult as some of the other ones we were used to. All right, so I'm looking for a sword right here so I can make a gunblade for my other item, but I can always get a sword from the treasure dragon. Instead, I'm going to take this cloak so I can make the dragon's claw for Silas. And now I'm going to go level 8, and now this... do I end up going level 8 here? I thought I went level 8 and rolled here. Or maybe I ended up waiting a little bit longer to see what I could get. No, I ended up waiting. I guess I was talking with ASM here. So I'm going to find the Jade Dragon. I'm going to find the Shi-O-Yu, and that's nice. I should pick up this Vlad because I might be able to hit Vlad 3-star. And then, oh, that's right. I was talking with Antisocial and saying, do you want me to send you this Shi-O-Yu? And he said, yes, do send it over. So that does use up one of our sends. But again, he wasn't going to be able to find the Jade Dragon on his own because he's lower levels. All right, so this is the partner of the Shimmer Scale player, and I've just been beating this comp very easily every time I've hit it up till now. But look at what they have. Now they have an Aurelion Sol, and it's a 1-star Aurelion Sol. Does that matter? Nope, does not matter at all. Aurelion Sol just easily wipes the board on 3 casts and does 16,000 damage as a 1-star. It's like, oh, well, I guess we've got rivals in this game now. So this is, in a nutshell, the problem with this patch right now. Hitting 1 Aurelion Sol stabilizes your board insanely hard. 1-star Aurelion Sol carries way too hard. Like way too hard. And I was the one taking advantage of that in the other video that I posted, I don't know, a couple days ago. I was the jerk who was losing the game, had played the early and mid game rather poorly, and then suddenly got 1-star Aurelion Sol and then won the next like 7 rounds in a row. This game, I am not the one who has gotten the early Aurelion Sol. It's one of the other players. And that went from a board that was basically lost streaking and going to be out of the lobby to now suddenly they're the strongest person in the lobby because they found 1 Aurelion Sol, I guess at 4% odds. I think they were level 8. So yeah. That is the problem with this patch. That's why this is not a very fun patch, because just hitting at low odds can suddenly swing the whole game, and then the early game ends up not mattering very much. So now we got a real struggle on our hands. One person is Shimmer Scale 9 with the Crown of Champions, and their partner has found the Aurelion Sol. So there's like 4 of us playing into mages, but that person has hit, and now they're going to be very strong. And now the rest of the game is going to be, we have to try to deal with this stupid Aurelion Sol, who is so overpowered in this patch. Like, I have put myself in perfect position. I've played the early game beautifully. We're at 75 HP. By the way, this dragon is perfect. I'll definitely take this dragon. That'll get me the Gunblade with that sword. And then I even have a Zerat minion that I can toss in here, plus a Reforger if I get something I don't like. So there's the Gunblade. And then we also have another Sunfire. So we'll go ahead. Happy to take that. Or no, actually I ended up reforging this. That's right. So this can be, what did I end up doing with this? I think I made Morello's. Where did I make a Zeke's? I think I made Morello's here, if I'm remembering this correctly. I put the Morello's on Sona, on Nami. And then we're gonna go ahead and roll, so we'll take out the Bard. And then now I'm just looking for an Aurelion Sol. That's all I need here is show me Aurelion Sol. And am I gonna find it? I'm finding, some of the astral units. I'm finding Alawi's, but no, I'm gonna find the Al Shin. And I was like, do I play Al Shin? I was like, I think I have to play the Al Shin at least until I can find Aurelion Sol, because even the Al Shin's got to be better than the Rise at this stage of the game. So now I need to take something else out in order to play this. And I was like, I guess I'll take out the Alawi for the time being. But I'm going to make a huge mistake here, and this is the biggest mistake I make in the game, is I need to put the Mage Hat on Al Shin, and I never do that in the game. I'm honestly, legitimately embarrassed that I never did this in this game. For whatever reason, I just did not see that I needed to put the Mage Cap. I actually have very good items. I'm missing a Spear of Shojin, which is kind of the other key item on Al Shin because he takes so long to cast. But I never put the Mage Hat, and I have no idea why. Like, a double casting mage here would be perfect. It would actually get me up to 5 mages, and then I'd have 5 mage Al Shin with Gunblade plus Morello's plus Mage Hat, which would just be amazing. So I have no idea why I fail to see this play. It makes no sense whatsoever why I'm not seeing this. It's just so obvious that the Mage Hat should be on this dragon, because I'm missing a last item. Like, I'm legitimately missing one more item to put on here, and I have a Mage Cap that I'm not using. So, oof. This is going to make this game harder than it needed to be, because I did not see this play. All right, well, I'm still hoping that I can find an Aurelion Sol right now, but I haven't found the Aurelion Sol, so I'm going to have to play through the Al Shin. And if you ever needed more evidence that Aurelion Sol is way better in this patch than Al Shin, this game will, again, serve to confirm. The data says this as well, that Aurelion Sol is a much better champion. The data also speaks to this point as well, but, this game, you can just see how much longer and more of a struggle it is for the 1-star Al Shin, whereas the Aurelion Sol just easily wipes the entire board, even as a 1-star champion, whereas my dragon has to take forever to wind up and does not get that ascended benefit that the Aurelion Sol gets. All right, anyway, so we're getting to a minion round, we're going to get one more round here before the carousel. I thought we were going to the carousel there, miscounted. So continuing to roll here, not really finding this. Again, I no longer get the Astral Shops because I took out the Vlad, so I no longer get that. And once again, I'm thinking, what do I do here? I'm like, do I play the Ornn? I was like, I think I have to play the Ornn over the Alawi. And again, I have the Mage Cap free, and oh boy, my past self. I'm so embarrassed really embarrassed to post this, but it did turn into an interesting game. But yeah, it's not like Bard with a Mage Cap is bad. He actually does get a lot of value out of this with the double aura that freezes the enemy team. Like, that is really good, but oh boy, what would be better? What would be better if my Al Shin would cast twice? So he would do his big lightning storm, and then he would do his big lightning storm again after he cast the first time. Yeah, that would be kind of nice. It doesn't matter here. We're going to easily able to win this round anyway. But this is not the team we have to be worried about. It's the other team, the one that has 25 HP, not the one that has 1 HP. And look, there's another Mage Cap on this carousel. There's also a Spear of Shojin, which I would also like as well. Now, I'm not going to get the Mage Cap because I'm last pick on this carousel since I've been win streaking here. And, Antisocial tries to get the Shojin, but he can't get it. So what do I do here? I end up taking Giant Slayer and putting Giant Slayer on Al Shin as a third item. And, it's not bad. Giant Slayer's not terrible. It's going to be very good against high health targets. Does give him some extra attack speed. By the way, also combines into Alawi 2-star, so I was like, ugh. But, it's just so much better if the last item's a Mage Cap instead of being instead of being a giant slayer. So yeah. Anyway, now I'm kind of at the point where it's like, well, I've kind of converted my board over into playing Al Shin. I'm not even really configured now to play Aurelion Sol, but just have not seen Aurelion Sol at all, which again is kind of disappointing, but sometimes that's the way it is in these lobbies. Like, you know, you roll down and you try to find the 5-cost units or the 10-cost dragons, and sometimes you hit and sometimes you don't. And that other person managed to hit the Aurelion Sol, and we just did not. Like, I have not seen it in my shop. Antisocial is not, although Antisocial is only level, he's a lower level, so it's less likely he's going to see these dragons in his shop. I do need to have Warren in for Tempest 4 because Tempest 4 gives the increased attack speed. So anyway, I'm up against the Shimmer Scale 9 player, and I'm actually probably would beat this person, but oh, guess what? Yeah, Al Shin, yeah. Or excuse me, Aurelion Sol. So the Aurelion Sol comes in, and it's like, well, yep, they managed to 2-star it, so guess that means we just lose. Yes, that means we just lose against that player. And now finally I do get Aurelion Sol right after I've sold all of the pieces to make the comp work. I was like, I just sold all my Alaois. I just sold my Vlad. Now I don't have the pieces to play this anymore. I was like, man, why couldn't this have shown up in the shop just a little bit earlier? But now I feel like it's kind of too late to play into this. I mean, I'm gonna pick it up anyway, just in case maybe we'll see some more. But now now I've got the 2-star Ornn, and I had 8 Alaois, and now I have 0 Alaois. So yeah, it's just timing just not right to play this, unfortunately. So 1-star Al Shin against 2-star Aurelion Sol. I mean, do you even have to ask how this fight's going to go? That unit is going to heal up to full HP after every single cast. It's going to hit the entire board. Like, I have second wind kick in, and there goes the lightning storm, but like I don't even get close to doing anything to this board. I can't even scratch this. I guess Silas is still alive, which is not bad, but Silas can never kill this unit. That's not going to happen. And then the Shimmer Skill players come over as well. So we are in deep doo-doo right now. This is not what we want at all. Not what we're looking for. So yeah, now they've got the Shimmer Scale. They've got Shimmer Scale 9, and they're actually starting to stack. They're actually starting to stack the 5-cost units on that Shimmer Scale 9 board. I'm gonna grab the Shioyu and send it over to Antisocialmunky so he at least gets 2-star Shioyu in it for his Jade composition. But this is not looking good, and really the game has just flipped around entirely ever since that one person they just hit Aurelion Sol at 4% odds, and like that has completely flipped the lobby around. So kind of a frustrating patch because it feels like we outplayed this team pretty badly, but just like they hit and we didn't, and sometimes that's the case. All right, so again, I'm rolling it down here. I really need to find more for my composition. Really, really looking to find at least Al Shin 2-star, and we could hope to get that. So going to keep looking. And there is another Al Shin, so I was like, oh, okay. There's also another Silas here that I should pick up, because that would get me to 7 Silases. And so at this point, I'm like, I think I'm committed to Al Shin. I don't want to play this unit, but I think I'm committed to it. So I'm just going to keep looking. I'm up against the Shimmer Skill player. I think I have a better matchup against the Shimmer Skill player. Do keep an eye out on their bench, though. Look at the units they have on their bench. They actually have 7 Pikes right now, and they're just trying to stack. They're trying to stack all the 5-cost units, seeing if they can 3-star any of their 5-cost units. But yeah, I think I actually have a shot, especially if I can 2-star Al Shin. I think I have a shot against this board. And oh, by the way, it looks like Antisocial actually beat the Aurelion Sol. I wish I'd been able to show that on camera. I was like, wait a minute, what? It's like, yeah. And the reason for that is the Shioyu he's playing actually is the counter to Aurelion Sol. It's the one unit that counters one unit that counters Aurelion Sol in this patch. So we're like, oh, okay. And then I actually hit the Al Shin 2-star right there. So I'm going to hit that. And then Antisocial also found one in his store. Or no, excuse me. He sends over a Zeke's, and then he actually had one in his store as well. And I forgot to tell him that I had just gotten one in my shop. So he's going to send that over. So he basically just sent me 10 gold, and which was not terribly useful. And now there's no reason to keep rolling. Now I want to get to level 9 and play Zoe so I can get 5 mages in. Again, I really, really, really wish I had the mage cap on my Al Shin. But yeah, misitemization. So again, item's not bad. It's just would be a lot better if mage cap were on that unit. So now I'm up against this, and it's like, can the 2-star Al Shin, this is a well itemized Al Shin, right, with 4 Tempest. This was by far the strongest comp in like most of the previous patches of TFT. Can this board beat the Aurelion Sol? That person's still even level 8. Like, they're not even level 9. They're level 8. Of course, I guess I'm also level 8 as well. But I feel like my board is better built than theirs, honestly. It's just like, can we ever kill the Aurelion Sol with this board? And it looks like the answer to that is no. No, we cannot. Aurelion Sol just does 20,000 damage instantly and wipes the board. So, yep. So now I'm really dependent on Antisocial to win these rounds, and he's actually going to win that round as well. So it's like now it's Antisocial that we're relying on to win because I am not able to win against this board. It is striking how useless 2-star Ao-Shin is against 2-star Aurelion Sol. And it's just very clear the Astral Dragon is much, much better. Anyway, so I'm going to send the Thief's Glove over to Antisocial. And I'm actually going to sell the Silas because I don't think I'm going to hit Silas 2-star. And I want to get over to, I want to try to get to level 9. Meanwhile, they are rolling. They're actually on 8 Yasuos and they're actually on 8 Pikes as well. So they're rolling for 3 stars, trying to see if they hit. And we're like, oh, please don't hit these 3-star units. Please don't hit a 3-star 5 cost. That's not what we need. Look at how much money that Shimmer Skill players rolled with. So they're like rolling. And fortunately, thank goodness, they have not hit on any of them. So they have 8 Yasuos and they have 8 Pikes over there. We're just praying that they don't end up hitting the 3-star versions of either of these. But because they don't have the 3-star versions of any of these 5-cost units, I'm pretty confident that I can beat this board. So now I just need to get Ao-Shin to cast. I mean, they actually don't have like any synergies in play because they've been selling all their units just to roll for 3-star 5 costs. So I was like, yeah, pretty sure I win against this. So just the Zoe. I'm going to win my round, and Antisocial actually won his round as well. So, yeah, we're just going to beat this. And are they out of the lobby? No. Apparently, they had 1 life left, which is really annoying. It's like, they go down to 1 HP. I guess they had another life left. All right, so we get another carousel. There's nothing too super important that I'm looking for here. But look what's going to happen. Your Ramen, who is the player with all the Shimmer Skill units, he's going to run and grab a Pike. And that is actually going to give him 9 Pikes for Pike 3-star. And there's nothing we could do about this because they had first pick on Carousel. So look at the pop-up, 2-star Pike, and then it's going to pop up 3-star Pike. And we were like, oh no. Oh no, they've got 3-star Pike. Oh dear God. How are we going to beat this board? The only thing we can do now is we have to hope that we can beat the Aurelion Sol player because we're not going to be able to beat a 3-star Pike. 3-star Pike does, I don't even know how much damage, but something insane. Anyway, so I've grabbed an Evoker Emblem. This is not terribly useful, but I guess it causes Bard to cast a little bit faster. There wasn't really much I was looking for on that carousel. So I'm up against the Aurelion Sol player, and my job is to try to beat this person before Antisocial loses to 3-star Pike. That's my hope anyway. I'm not optimistic about that because this is just such a bad matchup for me. I think if I had the Mage Cap, I could probably win this, but without the ability to double cast, it's like, yeah, my entire board's still alive, but oh, guess what? Aurelion Sol just casts, and then he wipes the board. And I actually do kill the unit, but it's not fast enough. It's just not fast enough. So I actually did win that round, but not fast enough. Their partner came over, and I was not able to get the win there. Well, the only thing I can do right now is level to 9, get Zoe in for 5 mages. Now I will be up against 3-star Pike, and I'm like, I just got to hope that maybe I can hold out here. I don't think I can win against this board. Yeah, they have no traits in at all, just playing through 3-star Pike. I just hope that I can hold out long enough. And maybe maybe Antisocial can win his round. So I'm going to do the standard thing against Assassins, which is to box up in the corner. But this is actually the wrong thing to do for Pike because Pike deals damage in an area. So this is actually the wrong way to play against this. I should actually be spaced out because watch what's going to happen when Pike fills up his mana bar. He's going to ult and yeah, everything dies instantly. He one-shots my board. But Zoe is going to do something critical. She's going to get off a Daisy cast and it's going to take a little bit longer for Pike to kill the Daisy. And then Yasuo is going to go into his crit animation, which takes 2 extra seconds. And that is just long enough for Antisocial to win and knock out the other player. So we are actually going to take this lobby and win against the 2-star Aurelion Sol and against the 3-star Pike. So, wow, what a close game that was. It came down at the very end to, number 1, Zoe summoning a Daisy that bought me like an extra second, and then Yasuo going into his 3rd strike animation, which takes about 2 seconds to play, and that delayed the reinforcement just long enough for Antisocial's board to win. And I mean, let's give credit to ASM, because his board was beating the 2-star Ao-Shin. Like, with his reroll karma, he actually beat 2-star Ao-Shin, which is pretty crazy. But I will say Jade is the one comp that counters the Aurelion Sol in this patch. So anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, hope you enjoyed this video. It's a pretty crummy patch, but we're doing our best to have fun. Take care, folks.